Hello everyone, I'm Wade, your Cinephile host. The Spiderwick Chronicles 奇幻精灵事件簿 is an American fantasy adventure released in 2008. This film was adapted from a series of children's books by Tony DiTerlizzi and Holly Black. Upon moving into the rundown Spiderwick estate with their mother, twin brothers Jared and Simon Grace, both roles played by the same talented actor, Freddie Highmore, discover a magical world with their sister, Mallory Grace, who finds themselves pulled into this alternative world to protect and defend a book that contains all the secrets to the world filled with fairies. Story begins in 1928, when author Spiderwick writes a field guide about the many fairies he has encountered. After finishing the book, he hides it away for fear of Mulgarath, a shape-shifting ogre who plans to use the book's secrets for evil. But one day, Arthur disappears and his 6-year-old daughter was left alone. 80 years later, recently divorced Helen Grace inherits the property and moves into the abandoned Spiderwick estate with her 3 children. Jared is angry about the move and would rather live with his father. After uncovering a hidden dumbwaiter, Jared discovers Arthur's study where he finds the field guide and a note that says,
"Do not dare to read this book, for if you take one fateful look, you barter at your life's expense and face a deadly consequence."
But it was curiosity that killed the cat. Jared opened up the book and at the same time released the magic. When Jared explains his discovery of the book and the existence of magical creatures, his family doesn't believe him. The next morning, Jared meets a brownie named Thimbletack and entices him with crackers and honey. Thimbletack is initially angry with Jared for opening the book that he was supposed to be protecting from the shape-shifting orc, Mulgarath. Thimbletack gives Jared a hold stone that allows Jared to see into the invisible fairy world by looking through it. Jared witnesses Simon's abduction by goblins, led by Red Cap. Simon is taken to the goblins' campsite, where he is confronted by Mulgarath, who is disguised as an old man. Jared sneaks into the campsite, where he meets Hogsqueal, a hobgoblin.
Roy.
I am Hogsqueal, and I am here on a mission to destroy the ogre Mulgarath who killed my family.
Can you help me save my brother? Please?
Yeah! Sure, I was gonna suggest that right after you let me out of this cage. So come on, free me!
Okay.
Get it open again.
Hogsqueal gives Jared the ability to see fairies without the stone by spitting into his eyes, so that he can help him get revenge on Mulgarath for killing his family. Mulgarath releases Simon so that he can fetch the book for him. Jared finds Simon and both fight over the book before they are chased by goblins. The twins flee back to the house just in time to get to safety, but Mallory was still unaware of the dangers and outside the protective circle. Jared eventually helps her see by tossing the hold stone. She then fights the goblins off with her fencing sword. They realize that there was only one person who could help them, so they decide to visit Arthur's daughter, their great aunt, Lucinda, for some advice.
She can help us. Aunt Lucinda, are you kidding? We don't even know her or where she is.
I think I do. She's at the Woodhaven Sanatorium. But how do you get to her? If you step outside that circle, I'll get you.
Thimbletack knows a secret way. But in the house, the book must stay.
Mallory and Jared escape later through an underground tunnel, while Simon distracts the goblins. Chased by a troll sent by Redcap, they narrowly escape when it was struck and killed by an oncoming truck. Jared and Mallory meet their great-aunt, Lucinda, in a psychiatric hospital where she lives, surrounded by sprites. She tells the children that they need to find her father because he was the only one who knew how to destroy the book. However, for 80 years, Arthur has been missing. At that moment, Redcap and his goblins attack them through the window and manage to tear off several pages from the book before being driven off. Among the stolen pages, Mulgarath finds information on how to break the protective circle. While Helen is driving Jared and Mallory home, she has an argument with Jared over her disbelief. Jared angrily tells Helen that he hates her and he doesn't want to live with her anymore. Later, Hot Squeal, having overheard Malgarat's plan, quickly heads back to inform the children.
You said the goblins are plotting. To do what?
They have pages of the book, that stupid book! You don't understand. I talked to Spiderwick. I shared Hobgoblin's secrets, but Mulgarath stole just that one page, then used it to kill my entire family. If he gets a hold of the whole book, he will do the same to everyone, including you. And now he's coming when the moon rises, he said.
Fortunately for them, Jared has figured out how to find great-grand Arthur. A griffin is summoned by Jared, and it takes 3 of them to the Sylphs realm. There, they meet Arthur, who has not aged at all and is unaware of the time that has passed. Jared asked him to destroy the book, only to find out that Thimbletack had switched the pages and kept the real book at home. Arthur is relieved until Jared tells him that Mulgarath now knows how to break the protective circle. Arthur informs Jared that the Sylphs won't allow them to leave because, like him, they now know too much about the fairies, so Arthur helps them escape by distracting the Sylphs with the fake book. After they had returned home, the children finally convinces Helen of the reality of this magical world.
Jared, what is going on?
Mom, you gotta believe me, okay?
No. One more word about fairies and goblins, and I swear.
Goblins, I know, but I hid the book. They'll never find it. Well, I hope they don't. Well, again. Why is she screaming? I'm the one who should be screaming. The circle's about to be broken!
Meanwhile, the goblins finish spreading their potion, which successfully breaks the circle as the full moon rises. The family defends themselves with ingredients deadly to goblins, such as tomato sauce and salt bombs, and manage to kill the goblins in an explosion of tomato sauce. Suddenly, the children's father, Richard, appears. However, Jared asks him a question that he could not answer, so he stabs him with a knife, revealing Mulgarath in disguise. Mulgarath pursues Jared and the book throughout the house, before cornering him on the rooftop. Jared tosses the book, and Mulgarath transforms into a raven to catch it. But he is suddenly grabbed and eaten by Hodgesquill, who always had an appetite for birds. Afterwards, Jared and his mother reconciles. Several weeks later, the family brings Lucinda to visit the house. The Sylphs arrive with Arthur, allowing him to have a brief visit now that the book is safe. Arthur couldn't stay, as he would turn into dust if he remained. So, instead, Lucinda asks to go with him.
You came back as you promised, so I forgive you.
My dear, because the book was saved, the Sylph allowed me to come see you, but I cannot stay. Because if I do, all my years will come back to me all at once, and I will turn to dust.
Then this time, take me with you.
Lucinda asks to go with him and is transformed back into a child. The Grace family watch as the Sylph spirits Arthur and Lucinda away. Another happy ever after. But like we see in all fairy tale stories, the heroes must fight to protect what they love and value most, just as Jared did to protect his family from the evil orc. We can apply this to our own lives and each ask ourselves, how far will we go to protect those we love from the evil forces? 接下来 Ruby 要揭晓今天电影迷 The Spiderwick Chronicles 奇幻精灵事件簿要教我们些什么。So Ruby, I know we've talked about fairy tales before. 大家应该都知道有好人就有坏人嘛。那今天是不是可以聊到 the evil side 的角色呢？
Yeah, guess we both like to focus on the positive sides. However, 不瞒你说, my very first Halloween ever, I was an ogre.
Wait, what? Ogre? 不是怪物吗？今天电影里的怪物还真的有点吓人。
Yeah, ogres are scary. Hey, can you tell me the difference between an ogre and a monster?
都是指恐怖的生物。我想两个名词应该相通吧。
Well, some say ogre is a type of monster, 是怪物的一种，不过更凶残，甚至会吃人哦。
Ooh, that sure sounds scary. 不过我好像有听过 ogre 也是可以用来形容人，是说人凶残吗？
没错 ，ogre 可以用来形容行为残忍的人 ，monster 也是。
Oh, I see. 等等， 你刚才说你在万圣节就是当怪物，我需要担心吗 ？Should I be worried?
Not at all. I only picked that costume because I like the color green.
Oh, phew. Well, for now, I'm Wade.
I'm Ruby.
I hope you have learned something useful in this episode of Cinephile as I did. You can find more on the FUNDAY website.
Let's make every day a fun day.
Is that the nutbag and her husband? No. That's Arthur Spiderwick. You know, our great-great-uncle. The little girl's the nutbag. I mean, Aunt Lucinda, his daughter. She's the one who lived here before they took her away to the nut house. Right. And why'd she get taken there? Because she said her father was abducted. By fairies. Exactly. Our crazy aunt stayed here a whole life and never left. Ever. It's not gonna happen to me. Or you. End of discussion.